Some women don't realize how exhausted they are because they've been functioning in survival mode for so long that it feels normal now. They're still going to work, still responding to text, still taking care of everyone else, still showing up. But internally, their body never fully relaxes. Their mind never fully settles. And even when life looks fine on the outside, they feel like they've quietly disappeared somewhere inside of it all. And I know this because I've lived it too. I think one of the hardest things really about chronic stress is that it often becomes invisible, especially in high functioning women. You can look composed, you can look capable, be productive, successful, even calm, and still feel internally completely overwhelmed almost all of the time. That was my experience. After my divorce, I went through a period where externally I looked functional, but internally my nervous system felt like it never switched off. And I don't just mean emotionally, I mean physiologically. My sleep changed, my, thoughts changed, my body definitely changed, my sense of safety changed. And even rest didn't feel restorative. And what I started realizing, both through my own personal experience and through working with women, is that many women are actually not lacking in discipline. They're living in a prolonged state of physiological stress. And the body does adapt to survival mode. The problem is survival mode feels productive at first. You can become hyper responsible, hyper aware, hyper capable. You push through, you perform, but then over time, that internal bracing starts costing you. It starts to affect your sleep, your hormones, your metabolism, your relationships, your joy, your ability to feel present, and eventually you stop feeling like yourself. When I use the word bracing, I don't just mean stress. I mean that internal state where your body feels like it's constantly preparing for impact. Even during just regular, ordinary moments, you wake up and you're feeling already tense. You struggle to fully exhale. Your thoughts race at night. You feel guilty resting. You constantly feel like you are behind. Your body feels inflamed or exhausted. You feel emotionally flat or completely overstimulated. And many women normalize this. They tell themselves, this is just my hormones. I'm just getting old. It's just life. This is just what success costs. But I don't believe women were meant to live in a constant state of internal pressure. And I think many women have actually lost touch with what real steadiness actually feels like. Not temporary relaxation, not checking out, not a form of escapism. I mean true internal steadiness. To feel safe enough in your own body to soften again. Because when a woman's nervous system has been completely overloaded for years, she doesn't just need motivation, she needs restoration. And this is why I talk so much of internal safety, because you cannot mindset your way out of a body that does not feel safe. I think one of the saddest things is how many women slowly disappear inside lives that still look successful from the outside. And because the decline is gradual, they don't always notice what's happening. They just lose their joy. They are less expressive, less connected to themselves, more exhausted, more guarded, more numb, more reactive, and more lonely. And as time passes, they stop expecting to feel truly good again. That part matters because when a woman loses the belief that she can feel good again, she stops reaching for more. And I think that is why so many women end up functioning for years instead of actually living. And it's not because they're weak or because they're lazy, but because chronic stress changes a person's internal landscape quietly. And the longer a woman lives in survival mode, the more normal it starts to feel. Until one day she realizes, I don't even remember what ease feels like anymore. I think many women think that healing is about becoming someone entirely different. But really, honestly, a lot of healing is simply returning to yourself, sleeping deeply again, laughing more easily, feeling softer, thinking clearly, feeling present in your own life again. And I think one of the most powerful shifts a woman can actually experience is realizing she no longer has to force herself through every day. That steadiness is possible. Not perfection, not feeling, endlessly happy, but steadiness. And this is the work that I do. I help women move from chronic internal bracing toward a more grounded, internally steady way of living through nervous system support, stress regulation, blood sugar stabilization, structure, self-trust, emotional reconnection, and learning how to create safety internally once again. Because when the body starts to feel safe, everything changes. You sleep. You think more clearly. Your relationships change. Even your presence changes. People can feel when someone is internally steady. If you're listening to this and something in you feels seen, I want you to know you don't need to keep white-knuckling your way through life alone. And maybe right now you don't need a massive life, overhaul. Maybe you simply need space to exhale, to feel seen, to feel heard, right? To feel, understood, to reconnect with yourself again. That's why I created my 90-minute reset session. It's a focused private session designed for women who feel completely overwhelmed, internally braced, emotionally exhausted, or disconnected from themselves. And together we look at what is actually happening beneath the surface, physiologically, mentally, emotionally, and begin creating a path back toward steadiness. Not pressure, not performance, steadiness. So if this resonates with you, I'd love to work with you. You can find the link below to learn more about the session and book it if it feels aligned for you. And if this video helped you feel a little less alone, leave me a comment. I'd genuinely love to hear from you.